So you size your system, apply for your permit, interconnection, order your system, get everything in there. Once the interconnection comes back and says, yeah, you can go ahead and install it, get it inspected, and then you reapply to, not reapply, but send in part 2 of the interconnection to PP&L or NICEAG, Penelec, and then they'll send back and say you can turn your system on, and then you can turn your system on, and everyone's happy. Yes?
Well, PP&L doesn't actually send out an inspector, they take the word of the electric license collector.
Correct. Correct. The inspection isn't from PP&L. The only thing they really do is some paperwork, and they'll come out and they'll change your meter to a bidirectional meter so they can keep track of that push and pull back and forth from the grid and make sure you're getting credit for what you produce when you're not there, when you're not using the electric.
A question for Jack.
Yes.
Rather than ask you, have him ask.
Yeah.
The insurance, you're saying you have to reapply for more insurance. Is that because you've done a capital improvement?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you had a fire,
Yes. Yes.
then you want to recover that.
called the
PPL
replacement
has
value
the
of your
right
home.
to send their own inspector, but usually they don't.
Yeah, they reserve that right to, but I haven't had one yet, so. How many people here are Penelec? Electricity, no? Okay, good, because they charge you $100 to, they charge you $100 and they're very, very, very slow in their paperwork. What size? Okay, so you look at your roof space. Will it fit? Again, panels are 40 by 65. We're gonna do 9 panels, 12 panels, 15 panels. Anywhere from 15 and under would be 1 string of panels. If you want to go with 2 systems, two separate strings, then you have 30 panels total, but you have to think of them as 2 smaller arrays, 2 smaller groups. 15 panels or less, and then another set of 15 panels or less. Measure that out. Is this going to fit on my roof? Obstacles. Okay, is there a roof vent coming through the roof? Do we have any inspectors here? Okay, good. So I don't have anybody questioning my judgment here, but no. Things like roof vents sticking up, you know, you have a 3-inch PVC pipe for your sewer vent. Well, it's supposed to, by code, come up 2 feet above the roof line. That's for snow load. And then if you want to put a solar array up there, you look at it and say, well, that's right in the middle of this beautiful roof space. I can't put my solar array. Yes, you can. Your panels are going to be about 5 inches off your roof. You're going to have that much clearance. Some spots you're going to have less than that, but you can cut that roof vent off. The main thing is once you put a panel over top of it, it's not going to be covered with snow. It's still going to be able to vent up through there. Yes?
If you're facing them all due south, sometimes it's not possible to face what's going on in the roof.
Correct. I'll get there in just a second. Chimney, trees, satellite dishes. You want to keep your solar window open, is what they call it, between 9 and 3 all year round. All year round, if you can get sun on your roof from 9 to 3, that's what they call your solar window. That's what you're looking for. We have a lot of people say that, oh, I get sun all day from here. You know, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. And you show up in the middle of summer, yes, you get sun there all day. You know, northern sides of the roof get sun all day during the summer. You want something that's facing as south as possible. If you have a peak that goes north to south and your only exposure is east and west, an east or west exposure really isn't all that bad. I have customers that they look over the Delaware River Valley and they face due east on a flat metal roof. And from 6 o'clock in the morning, they're getting sun all the way until about 2:30 when it gets just over the bridge. So, yeah, you're going to have some losses. Consider that in your reasoning and your cost analysis. But definitely, you know, don't put it up if you have big hemlock trees or spruce trees right in front of your house. Again, we can do, yes?
I've seen solar panels quite a distance from a house. Is that something that's doable?
That's something that's doable, but not in this scope of what we're doing. To keep costs down, we're going to be doing it on the roof. The roof is the easiest, most cost-effective way, not easiest, but cost-effective way, because your structure is there that you have to mount to. You know, your structure is here, whereas if we're doing it on the ground, then you have excavation, you have to build a structure, you have to get extra parts and components, to mount your panels to. So the roof is most cost-effective way. Your wire runs are shorter typically because your electric service is in the basement. Yes?
So you're putting the solar panels on the roof totally with roof brackets? That's the,
No, that's just a little safety measure.
how else are you attaching it?
We'll get there in just a second.
Okay.
Yes?
What's the optimum angle in this area?
Excuse me?
The optimum angle, roof angle?
Optimum angle is, I believe, 29, 27, 28 degrees, somewhere in there. For overall yearly production. You know, you're gonna produce, it helps you produce more in the summer. But if, 29, 28, 27 degrees, I forget what it is in there, is optimum production facing due south, magnetic south, or true south. Yeah, so that's, I mean, if you have a 4-on-12 pitch roof, not a big deal. It's still gonna produce, you're still gonna see your savings in return. You're looking at, when Jack did the 1,100 kilowatt hours per 1 kilowatt of electricity, that's optimum conditions. If you're not facing true south, if you're not facing, if you have a lower pitch, if you, these inverters that we're giving you are pretty good at compensating for stuff like that, or pretty efficient, shall I say. But you're going to have a little bit of losses no matter what, but we're going to try to keep those losses to a minimum. The Pathfinder, little tool that Seeds has. You said you give it.
I'll bring mine at break, I'll go get mine.
Yeah, I have mine out in the truck too. We did look at it during the break, but it just shows you that solar window to see if, okay, this is a good spot, this isn't a good spot. If you have some shading December, January, February, don't sweat too much because those are the worst months of the year. I mean, you get, 6 hours of sun during the winter, it seems like most of the time. It's pretty pitiful. So if you do have some shading, don't lose sleep over that. So apply. When we apply to the utility, we have an interconnection part 1. I have a slide up here that shows you the address for it on PP&L. You just look up PP&L, and you can even Google utility interconnection agreement, and it'll come up and say customer-owned generation. Click on that one. It gives you the whole list of what you need. But when you apply the first time, you need a spec sheet on your inverter. You just look at the inverter you have, or the inverter you want. The inverter will give you. We can have links to all these next time. Print that off. It's a one-sided, it's a double-sided sheet that has all the specifications for the inverter. You want to actually fill out the application. 2 pages, where it's going to be installed, who owns it, who's going to install it, and some information on the inverter itself. Again, you have panels, inverter, your electric. Panels are DC, electric, your electric is AC, and then the inverter makes that change for you. Fee. If no one's here is in Penelec, so you don't have an application fee, they ask for a site plan. You can go on Google Earth and look and get a picture of your house and show them where your transformer is, where your panels are going, where you're interconnecting at. Again, this is all outlined on their website, but just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. You can even draw it yourself, just pencil and paper and draw it, scan it, email it to them. And then a 1-line electrical diagram. So all you would have is, you draw a box that says panels, point an arrow that says, or to inverter, point an arrow that goes to auxiliary production meter. From your auxiliary production meter, you go to an outside disconnect. From the outside disconnect, you go into your electric panel. I know I'm going a little bit fast on these, but we will look into this next time too. So just trying to get you a good idea of what we're looking at. And then permitting. You basically give them the same information. They might want to know your panels, your racking, give them a spec sheet, and then a load spec sheet. Sometimes they want to know how much load is going on the roof. It's less than 3 pounds per square foot. It's not a big load at all. Order takes about 2 weeks to order. If you need a new roof, if your roof is older than 10 years, consider replacing that first and then putting the system on, because you're looking at a 25-year plus system. You don't want to have to take it off and then put it back on. Try to remember it, 10 years later, but, and is it a metal roof or shingle? That's the variable that we're going to be playing with. Standing seam metal roof, a regular ripple roof, we can play with that, just how it attaches. If you have a standing seam metal roof, anybody have standing seam metal roof? You have those standing seams that come up, part of the metal roof. This is what they call an S5 clip. Come down here, you will tighten these Allen bolts and then build your racks off of that. Everyone else that's conventional shingled roof, we're going to come over here, we're going to find our roof rafters. Once we locate our roof rafters, and we'll explain that in just a minute. Slide the flashing up underneath it. You can actually pre-drill your hole first. Pre-drill your hole first into the roof. Slide your shingle, your flashing up underneath the shingle, and then you lag the bolt down through. This isn't actually I've got a whole bunch of these other ones coming in this week, but this is just a piece of tin. So basically all it is with the rubber seal to it. Pre-drill, slide this up in. You attach your L foot with a lag bolt. All you're going to do is silicone the hole before you put your lag bolt in. Come down through, tighten it down. Once you tighten down that lag bolt, your rails look something like this. This is obviously a very, very small one. They come with little bolts to them. These bolts slide in this groove. Slide along here. You look up on your roof and you say, okay, I've got, 7 feet, so I'm going to put 7 bolts in here. You slide your bolts in, you go up here with your rail. After your L foot is already on the roof, these bolts are in the rail. You just slide them in. We prefer the top rail, or the top hole. There's 2 holes in here. We prefer the top hole, just because it gets the panel a little bit higher. If you got to reach underneath there and wire tie something up, it gives you a little bit more room. But with the panel being higher, it actually has a little bit of a chimney effect and helps the panels and your roof stay a little bit cooler too. So you put your bolt in here. Your L foot can either be this way on the roof or that way. Doesn't matter. Usually we run our L feet like this. On every rail in the bottom row, we flip it around and put it like this. It's just a lot cleaner look when you look at it from underneath. That's just something we do. I don't know. But this bolt tightens down on the rail, and that's what you got. I think I skipped a couple slides. Okay, if you're going to install it on a roof, ladders, chalk line, cordless drill bits, ratchet and sockets, electrical hand tools, pencil, crayon. If you have a bright yellow crayon, that works great on shingles. Otherwise you're going to be sharpening your pencil over and over and over again. And then a Sharpie to actually mark the rails. Tape measure, simple. Other than that, we don't use anything fancy or spectacular.
No, just basic hand tools, really.
Yeah. When we go ahead and put our array up, we want to find the center of our array. We want to find the center of our system. Where are we going to put this system? We want to center it aesthetically, so we find center and then measure out from there. It's good to have somebody on the ground that knows the numbers so you can shoot the numbers out to them and verify that everything's good. You want to find your rafters from underneath. We'll show that in just a minute or two after the break. Once you find your rafters, you want to go a spacing of about 48 inches or 54 inches maximum between one foot and the next foot. So you lay out your feet. Yeah, here, I've been going 15 minutes now. Let's just take a break real quick, and then we'll come back and get more into the laying out of the feet.